Hey folks, welcome back. So this week is gonna be kind of some odds and ends of stuff because I'm kind of on hold on a couple of the main projects that I've been working on lately. The first being the windows. So I called up the place actually this morning and talked to the lady there, and she said, we've been running kind of behind. Things have been a little bit weird lately. And she said, I just looked and your name is actually like the next one on the list of people to do. So she said, hopefully we should be doing it like in the next day or two. So hopefully we'll be picking up some window panes this week. So that should kind of get things moving on those again. And then also, as you recall, we finished up the logs that we had on hand for milling up the deck boards. And so I texted the guy that we're getting them from, and he said, well, I don't know. He said, I might be able to get you another 5 logs or whatever by the end of the week, but it might be next week. He wasn't really sure, so I don't know if we'll be getting any more of those this week or not. So with that said, we're going to be kind of working on a couple of other just little random projects around here just because we don't really have anything to do with the other projects at the moment. The first thing that I want to do, it's kind of related to the bridge. I want to test out the nuts that are on the rods that hold the main arches in place. Just give them a test and see if we can even get any of them to turn. You know, we've hit them a few times with some penetrating oil to hopefully loosen them up a little bit, and I just want to see if any of them are even movable. I did bring a little propane torch with me today, so we might hit that on them a few times just to see if that'll help at all. Just kind of give us an idea of where we're at. Alright, so out of the 14 nuts that we have to get off from here to get the rods off so we can get these arch pieces and all that off, there was only 2 of them that I was not able to get off. We got some kind of extenuating circumstances here. So the first one is this one right over here. The issue with that is that apparently at one point this arch piece was replaced, and you may be able to notice a little bit of a color difference there, and the reason for that is that that is actually an old railroad tie. So it's got the creosote in it, and that's what gives it that darker color. Now when they put this in, they kind of notched it down in there a little bit, so I can't really get onto the nut to get a good grip on it to break it loose. So we're gonna have to cut some of that wood out of there so we can get at it a little bit better. But if it's like the others, you know, maybe give it a little bit of heat and really pull on it and we should be able to get it. However, the other one is gonna be a little bit interesting because this one right here, which is actually just right beside the other, they're grouped together, this one is in backwards. So this right here is actually not the nut, that is the bolt head. The nut is on the bottom. Why they did that and how they did that, I really have no idea. I'm not sure what they were thinking and why they did it that way, but I was looking at it and the nut is actually on the bottom. I hadn't really noticed that up until now, but that's gonna be a little bit interesting to get off, and I haven't quite figured out how I want to do that yet. Alright, well, we got that one right there done. Cut a little bit of wood out of the way, and it actually came off pretty easy. I was a little surprised. Didn't have to use any heat or anything. And then this one over here, seeing as I've kind of been spraying the penetrating oil on the wrong end of it, I tried kind of reaching around underneath there, getting a little bit on that nut. I think I got some on. I can't really see what I'm doing at all because it's underneath there 1.5 feet, so I'm kind of going blind, but hopefully we got some on that. And I really don't know. Maybe might try setting up like a ladder in the creek or something. I don't know. This is going to be kind of interesting to get to that one. We'll have to do a little bit of thinking on that one and circle back around to it. All right, so next up, what we're going to do is I want to build a little kind of rack of sorts that I can put some of this slab wood and scrap pieces of wood that I can't really use for other stuff, and I can kind of stack it up on here, so that way when I'm trying to cut it into length for firewood, it'll kind of hold it together. It'll keep it off of the forks that are on the skid steer. It'll make it a little bit easier, I think, to cut some of this stuff to length. So that's what we're going to work on next. Alright folks, so today is going to be the last day for this week, and originally my plan was to get out here and do a little bit of string trimming around the mill house, get that cleaned up, because some of you guys have been complaining that it's starting to get too tall, the grass is getting too tall, you know, and it's looking bad. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna make you happy. I'm gonna get out here, clean it up a little bit, make it look all pretty, and hopefully that'll get us through the rest of the year. But as it just so happens, those plans changed at about 7 o'clock this morning when I was browsing through Facebook Marketplace, and I happened across a wood cook stove that is almost identical to the one that I got here. Now, as you know, we're missing our top pieces in here. There's some rough spots on it, to put it nicely, and it's almost the same as this one. It's, I think, a slightly different model. It doesn't have these side warming ovens on it. It just has this middle damper portion, so it's a little bit different, but the rest of it looks almost exactly the same. The price was right. The person said, I need it gone today. So of course I immediately responded. I was like, hey, I'm interested. I can get up there today and get it. And the person messaged back a couple hours later, said, gone. Like, oh man. It's like, you know, this would have just been perfect. But, you know, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. Someone messaged first and got it. So went about my day, kept on working on a couple other things. Get another message back, and the person said, it's available, can you come get it? Let me know soon. So needless to say, I'm messaged them back, said I'll take it, and you know, I can get up there today, just let me know when. And they said, okay, it's yours, you know, anytime this afternoon is fine. So we are out here. We're going to pick up a few things that I want. I'm going to be getting it on my own again because I didn't have anyone I could really call on short notice to help wrangle a cook stove. So we're going at it single-handed again, but Hopefully we should be able to do it. Looks like it's in an outbuilding, so I've got a furniture moving dolly with the little 4 wheels on it. I'm gonna grab a couple other things out here, and then we'll head up to Salem, and hopefully this goes well. Well, we got it. I just took a look at the little plate on there with the model number and whatnot, and it actually is the same model as this one over here. I was kind of thinking they might be a different model number since this one doesn't have the full warming oven like this one over here does, but they're actually both model DA. So either one's a different like model year than another, or maybe they had different variations within the same model where you could get it with or without. Probably this was a cheaper option, but either way, this thing is in really nice condition. It's got all of the little inserts that go on the top. It does have a couple cracks on the main surrounding plate on that, and I haven't cleaned up the other one well enough yet to be able to tell if there's any cracks in there. But if not, I might be able to swap out the 2 plates, and I mean, regardless, I'm going to end up with sort of a Frankenstove. Between the 2 of these, I'm going to pull the best parts from each one, combine them together, and try and get as good a stove as possible, which I should be able to get something pretty halfway decent at least, because I've got 2 of them to pull stuff from. It should end up pretty nice. Now, I'm not going to mess with it today, but I obviously do kind of need to shuffle stuff around a little bit in here. Move some of this stuff that's along the wall out of the way, and then we can move the stoves over closer to the wall so they aren't just out in the middle here. But I think we'll probably work on that next week. I think next week is supposed to be about equally as hot as this week. It's going to be kind of in the low to mid 90s, maybe a couple days where it gets down into the upper 80s. And of course, you know, got about 90-95% humidity to go along with that. So it's not exactly the most pleasant weather to be out working in right now, but hopefully we'll get something done next week. I'm still not entirely for sure. I'll probably call up the window place again beginning of the week, see if they've got those finished up, because they said it would only be another day or 2, and that was a day or 2 back. So hopefully we might get those. I don't know. Then also hopefully we'll get some more logs next week, and if it's not too terribly hot, might start milling on those depending on when those get here. But everything's kind of up in the air right now as far as what we'll be doing for next week. So as always, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next week.